friends, dear colleagues, dear teachers of mathematics from all Europe and world, welcome to this virtual event jointly organized by the Society Young Mathematician from Serbia and the Mathematical Institute of the Serbian Academy of Sciences and Arts. As we know, we are living in so-called new reality where teaching of mathematics and teaching in general is facing serious challenges and passes through big changes. On the behalf of the director of the Mathematical Institute of the Serbian Academy and Sciences and Arts, Mr. Zoran Ognjanović, I would like to greet you all. We are very happy to see participants from Albania, from Bosnia, from Cyprus, from African countries, from Europe, and we hope that soon we will be able to host you all in our beautiful Serbia. I will invite Ms. Radica Karović, the president of Society Young Mathematician, to greet and welcome the participants. You are muted. Please, Radica, you should turn on the microphone.
Okay. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Dear colleagues, distinguished guests, and all of you who are following us via the Zoom platform, good evening and welcome to the second International Conference Bridges of Mathematics. By transferring the knowledge in mathematics that took us years to acquire, both our own knowledge and that of our respected colleagues in the previous year, we ourselves become diligent students. In the modern world, which holds a value system set on different foundations, it is very important to stay on the path of nurturing true virtue in working with pupils and students, which the best professor highly value. We have all been trying to find our feet in unfamiliar terrain for a year now due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Online teaching provides a lot of possibilities, but it fuels the fear of the unknown, that is of the feedback we cannot access at all times throughout our technically modernized teaching methods. We are used to monitoring the flow of information with a watchful eye and a set that is not available on this occasion. After the class, we are torn by the questions, did we succeed? But then, at least in my case, there is a feeling of boundless happiness that I can tell myself we have succeeded together. We have been and we will remain a team that overcomes our future obstacles because we have become partners whose goal is to acquire knowledge. Perhaps we didn't learn everything today, but I'm sure we will now know a lot more tomorrow, because where there is a field, there is a way. Today, in the conditions that do not make it easy to be a pupil, a student, or a professor, we must support each other. So the various experience of educators from different backgrounds are invaluable. Dear colleagues, this is exactly why you are here today, and I cordially greet you on behalf of the Young Mathematician Association, and I wish you luck in your future role. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Ms. Karovic. Now I would like to introduce you a short movie about the activities held in beautiful town of Vrnjačka Banja, center of the Serbian tourism, which are annually organized by the society and under the name Bridges of Mathematics.
Matematika, jezik kojim je Bog napisao univerzum. Udruženje Mladi matematičar osnovano je 2011. godine u Vrnjačkoj Banji sa idejom da se unapredi i populariše nastava matematike. Prve organizovane aktivnosti bila su ekipna kviz takmičenja, različita od svih do tada sprovedenih takmičenja po organizaciji i koncepciji. Kviz Most matematike, kojim osim provere znanja iz gradiva omogućava učenicima da ispolje kreativnost u rešavanju projektnog zadatka, iz godine u godinu je sve popularniji. Udruženje je sve brojnije, povećava se broj aktivnosti, kao i broj učesnika na takmičenjima, tribinama i seminarima. Aktivnosti udruženja su takmičenje, kviz Most matematike, tribine, radionice i seminari za nastavnike, matematički kamp u Vrnjačkoj Banji za učenike, školica. U školskoj 2019. i 2020. godini, do početka pandemije izazvane koronavirusom, sve predviđene aktivnosti su uspešno realizovane. U organizaciji Udruženja Mladi matematičar 17. i 18. januara 2020. godine organizovana je prva međunarodna konferencija pod nazivom Mostovi matematike 2020. Tema konferencije je iskustva u primjeni projektne nastave. Konferenciji su prisustvovali predavači iz Francuske, Rumunije, Slovenije, Severne Makedonije, Crne Gore, Tuzlanskog i Unsko-Sanskog kantona, predstavnici udruženja, univerzitetski profesori, Udruženje Arhimedes, Savez učitelja Srbije, Društvo učitelja Beograda, direktori i profesori srednjih i osnovnih škola, studenti i brojni gosti. Matematika, nauka u temelju svake kulture i nauke, sada je u temelju svakog mosta koji želimo da gradimo.
The competition Bridges of Mathematics is one of the most representative activities organized by the Society Young Mathematician, and more information about it you can find on the website of the Young Mathematician, which will be put later in the chat. One of the most important supporters of our activities is the Ministry of Tourism, Trade and Telecommunications of the Republic of Serbia. And now we will introduce the short movie and welcome speech of Ms. Tatjana Matić, Minister of Trade, Tourism and Telecommunications.
Poštovani predstavnici Udruženja Mladi matematičar, poštovani gradonačelnici, poštovani nastavnici. Veliko mi je zadovoljstvo što mogu da pozdravim održavanje druge međunarodne konferencije Most matematike i posebno brojne učesnike iz regiona i celog sveta. Zainteresovanost nastavnika iz različitih zemalja za ovaj vid povezivanja pokazuje da je misija ovog udruženja ne samo ostvariva, već i neophodna. Naročito je to izraženo u pandemijskom periodu u kojem je ključ našeg opstanka upravo razmena i zajednička borba protiv izazova koje nam je nametnula ova kriza. Strateško opredeljenje Republike Srbije za digitalizaciju kao prioritetno sredstvo napretka u poslednjih 5 i više godina dovelo nas je prošle godine u stanje pripremljenosti za neočekivane prepreke koje je pandemija nametnula. Uprkos zaključavanju, ograničenom kretanju i bojazni od širenja virusa, mi smo uspeli da održimo bazične društvene sisteme u koje spada i obrazovanje kao jedan od najvažnijih stubova razvoja našeg društva. Regulativa na planu digitalizacije je bila utvrđena, infrastruktura podignuta, a brojni projekti koje je resorno Ministarstvo za telekomunikacije pokrenulo i podržalo u prethodnom periodu u oblasti obrazovanja doprineli su da nastava na daljinu funkcioniše i da naša deca ne budu uskraćena za sticanje novih znanja. Najveći heroji u tom održanju bili su upravo nastavnici koji su uložili ogromne napore kako bi prilagodili svoje programe novim uslovima. Mnogi nastavnici su i pre krize bili vrlo angažovani za uvođenje novih tehnologija u obrazovanju. U tom smislu, od posebnog značaja za podizanje nastavničkih kapaciteta bio je godišnji nagradni konkurs za nastavnike osnovnih škola Digitalni čas, koje je ministarstvo sprovelo čak 8 puta, upravo sa ciljem podsticanja upotrebe informacionih tehnologija kao nastavnih sredstava. Do sada je dodeljeno ukupno 462 nagrade, dok online zbornik sadrži oko 2000 radova, odnosno nastavnih jedinica koje su obrađene pomoću digitalnih tehnologija. Imajući u vidu promene na tržištu rada u digitalnom dobu sa ciljem jačanja naših talenata u oblasti STEM nauka, Ministarstvo je od 2017. podržalo takmičenje Most matematike. Takođe, razvili smo redovnu školsku kampanju IT Karavan sa takmičarskim programom, budući da smo, kao i vi, svesni da đaci najradije usvajaju nova znanja kroz kreativno učešće i nadmetanje. Tokom 4 godine u ovom programu je neposredno učestvovalo 13.000 đaka iz 83 osnovne škole iz gotovo svih gradova u Srbiji. Tada smo posebnu pažnju posvetili i jednakoj rodnoj zastupljenosti u programima, budući da je ministarstvo posvećeno većem uključivanju učenica u oblast matematike, programiranja i digitalnih tehnologija i putem obeležavanja Međunarodnog dana devojaka u IKT-u u okviru drugih programa u saradnji sa udruženjima i, naravno, tehnološkim kompanijama. Pored programskih aktivnosti, ministarstvo sistemski podržava uključivanje dece u online okruženje putem Nacionalnog kontakt centra za bezbednost dece na internetu, koji funkcioniše kao servis za prijave online ugrožavanja, ali istovremeno i edukativni i savjetodavni centar, dok je podizanje digitalnih veština naših najmlađih definisano kao jedan od ciljeva strategije digitalnih veština do 2024. godine. Sveobuhvatna digitalizacija obrazovanja sprovodimo i kroz kapitalni projekat Povezane škole, u okviru kojeg je do sada izgrađena lokalna računarska mreža u čak 940 škola u Srbiji i koji će ove godine uključiti još oko 900 škola koje će imati sve uslove pružanja savremenog obrazovanja našim mladim generacijama. Specifične pandemijske okolnosti samo su ubrzale predviđanja o značaju digitalnih tehnologija u obrazovanju, ali i o tome koliko je važno da podstičemo mlade ljude da razvijaju svoje talente i interesovanja u naučnim oblastima kako bi ostvarili sve svoje potencijale i potom dali doprinos daljem civilizacijskom razvoju. Ono što je takođe važno istaći jeste da razvijanje njihovog analitičkog i kritičkog mišljenja u digitalnom dobu omogućava i donošenje pravilnih odluka u konkretnim životnim situacijama kao što je zaštita ličnog zdravlja i zaštita bližnjih. Izazovi digitalne budućnosti stigli su ranije nego što smo očekivali i zbog toga je važno da nastavimo sa promocijom i edukacijom o značaju digitalnih veština i sticanju naučnih znanja kako bismo osnažili mlade ljude da teže ka tome da postanu vrhunski stručnjaci i naučnici. U tome ključnu ulogu imaju nastavnici i upravo su inicijative kao što je Most matematike od izuzetnog značaja za ovaj proces. Zahvaljujem vam se još jednom na vašem trudu. Želim vam uspešnu konferenciju i još mnogo susreta, takmičenja i programa za mlade uživo. Hvala vam.
In the name of organizers, I would like also to thank the city of Belgrade and the municipality of Vrnjačka Banja, who are the sponsors of this conference. Also, I would like to greet the colleagues from the Institute for Quality of Education and the Institute for Improvement of Education of the Republic of Serbia, who regularly support the activities of young mathematicians. Now we will start with the presentations, and I would like to invite Professor Branislav Ranđelović from Institute for Education, Quality and Evaluation from Belgrade to deliver his talk.
Okay, good evening, colleagues. Good evening, friends. It's my pleasure to be here again with you. And I'm happy because we don't have so many problems like yesterday, and everything is going well until now. Georgie, please, can you make me co-host so I can share presentation? Because tonight...
You should be able to share presentation right
I will
now,
try.
even without co-host
Super.
privileges.
Super. It's okay. It's okay. Because tonight I'm not speaking as a colleague mathematician. Tonight I'm here to speak as a director of institute, and having in mind a topic of this conference, title of this conference, I tried to be in line with that title, and I choose one very bombastic title of presentation. Is this the end of education as we know it? There is something I want to share with you during this presentation, and I would like to try to open your eyes maybe in some other way, different from this way that we are doing in last year. And of course, I'm not trying to frighten anyone or to be too depressive for this moment, but I want to open you just to share with you some of my thoughts and to try to open your eyes and in some other way. Of course, this is the main reason why we are talking about new way in education. This is the main reason why we have so many problems in last year, and something that changed almost all parts of our lives and in our societies. And of course, education is one of the parts of our societies that is mostly affected by this coronavirus that came who knows from where and came who knows when. And that virus will probably be with us who knows how long and for how many years. This is something that changed our attitude, and especially we people in education, not only mathematicians, but all teachers. We have to change a lot of things in the way we are doing our job. Is it maybe sunset of our civilization? Is it maybe something near the end of our civilization, or just a new beginning of something totally different? Maybe something that offers us a lot of new challenges, new possibilities, unpredictable possibilities. Let's try in next 10 minutes to think about Corona and think about everything that happened in last year in educational systems, like some new possibilities and something like announcement of a lot of changes. What is the problem with those changes that happened in last year? Our human civilization used to have evolutionary slow changes. And when we have slow changes, there is no big problem because we adjust to them from day to day. But we have had a lot of situation in our civilization that everything changed in just one day. This is one photo that will remind you for one date in, as far as I remember, 1989, where everything changed. And after that day, nothing was the same like in previous day. Maybe this photo will be another symbol of one day. Let's say that it is in the middle of March of previous year, that everything changed, and we waited that everything passed, and that we go back to school at the end of March, and then we waited until the end of April, and then we waited until May, and waited summer to pass, and in November we again closed our schools, and now is March. I think, and I'm sharing with you, that maybe it's stupid to wait that everything passes and that we all go back in schools, and that we try to do like we've been doing in previous period. Our colleague teacher is standing in the classroom and thinking about it. When will everything pass? When will again have children in the school? But we are now sure that nothing will be so fast. And I want to open possibilities to try to force you to think, what if this situation never stops? What if this situation stays like this in next 100, 200, and 1,000 years? Maybe after COVID comes some other COVID-20, COVID-21. Maybe we'll have some more problems. And maybe we'll have problems to bring children back to school because they saw in last year that they can stay at home and they can follow instructions and pass exams. 1 year ago, this photo that I really claim that it is one of symbols from 2020 in Serbia educational system. For those who doesn't know, this is a young teacher that and she has first online class on our television, and this is symbol of new turn in our educational system. One big change, and that big change should become big chance. We have to stop to think about those changes as a problem. Let's think about those changes like big chances for our education. In just one night, in just one day, we passed one step of 1,000 miles into digital transformation, not only of digital transformation of our education, but whole society. But tonight we are here to speak about transformation of our educational system. We can be sure that in one night, all our students in primary, secondary schools, in universities, immediately jumped into the virtual reality, into digital reality. And at one moment, we have to use a lot of tools, digital tools, that we didn't do it just one day before that. And we didn't think about it 1 week before that. Children are now totally different. They adapt changes much faster than we are adapting. At that moment, in just 1 week or 2 weeks, children adjusted to new tools, to use Google Classrooms, MS Teams, and all nice things that we are using now, and nobody planned it just a week before that day. We have to admit that children were fastest. They were first who adopted new way of thinking, a new way of education. We have to adapt that next part of our society that adjusted to new changes are parents. Parents had to do homeworks with their children. They had to watch television classes, and parents are the next segment that adjusted. Who was the last one? Believe it or not, we teachers. We waited and waited and waited that everything pass and that we can go and do as we used to do it in last 300 years. well, start to think about it that we will maybe never do it again in the same way. This is a type maybe of new teacher. Maybe tomorrow we will all, the whole day and whole week and every month do in this way. Our colleagues that adopted new technologies and computers and new tools. And we will probably never drop telephones and computers and all those things from our children, because they know that it is useful and they know that they can do some things much faster than it was before. Let's try to think that we will have to use it for next period. We have to, all the nice things that we accepted and the things that we think that are not so nice, when we accepted them, we will use it in future period. Don't try. We shouldn't try, especially as teachers who are working with our new generations who will be our future. We cannot turn the time back. Time is going, and let's accept these changes and let's make them into big changes. Life after COVID or life with COVID will force us to not look back and to not expect something that already passed. Unfortunately, this is sad photo of our reality. If we can put our children in the school at all, but maybe it is reality for next years and for next generations. Let's think about it and let's try to go further, to accept digital changes, to accept all the things that this situation give us in just one day, in just one night. And let's think about generation who are expecting from us, from teachers, to be innovative and to accept all challenges of future. With this presentation, I just wanted to open your eyes to stop thinking about something that was 1 year ago or 2 years ago or 10 years ago. Maybe that way of our work will never come again. Let's start to think in future, to watch in future, and to accept all the tools that we introduced in our educational system in this year, and to prepare to use it in previous period. Yes, I think it is the end of education as we used to know it until 1 year ago. This is new age of education, like new age in all other parts of society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ranđelović, for his inspiring comments. And I would like to tell all participants that they can put their questions and comments in the chat, and they will be collected by Jelena and Božo, and later in the discussion set to the speakers. Okay, so I have honor to welcome Professor Gregory Makridis, the president of the Cyprus Mathematical Society and doyen of teaching of mathematics in Europe, to present his contribution.
Good evening, everyone. Can I share?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me to your event. The topic is very interesting, and it's very much related to what we are doing. I agree with every word that the previous speaker, Mr. Bain, said. And it is just that the coronavirus, the pandemic, has found us unprepared for what we were trying to change in a slower pace. But maybe the pandemic eventually will help us change faster. And because this is what we have been working on for the last few years and the years to come. And today, what I'm going to present to you is really something related to evolution of education from 2.0 to 4.0. Most of our countries now are really in the education 2.0, as we say, and we are moving towards 3.0. But if we were at the 4.0, which I will mention more or less, we wouldn't have any problem with pandemic. Also, we should know that the kids were more prepared than us, because the new generation grows up with technology and internet, and they have different competences and skills we didn't have when we were at their age. Also, we cannot imagine what will happen in 15 or 20 years from now, because we only think of today's technologies. So if someone 25, 30 years ago would tell you that we can do this conference right now in this way, it's so easy, you wouldn't believe it. So what will happen in 20 or 30 years from now, we really don't know, because we don't know the technologies of the future. So this is, I'm going to concentrate my presentation on the STEAM project, which is running now in the second year. It's funded under the Erasmus program, and I will tell you what it is. But let me start in the same case that Mr. Bain was talking about the past, to show you two pictures with a difference of 100 years. And we see a classroom of 1921 and a classroom more or less of 2021. What is the difference? Well, the difference is color. The difference is GDPR. We cannot see faces of students, some screens and some whiteboards maybe. Nothing much has changed in 100 years. So, and the reason is because we are moving very slow into the change. If we change faster, then maybe the pandemic wouldn't hit us so much. Just some two other interesting pictures. In 1950, air conditioning was just a classroom outside in the fields. I don't know if you ever had a chance, for those who are in my age, but in the 70s, we had occasions like this. But in 2021, we can see very modern classrooms nowadays with air conditioning, etc. Some other thing, maybe you remember, some of you, when we had the first portability in the 60s with the blackboards on wheels. I don't know if you had a chance to see this. So we were able to run a class, a lesson in a library, for example, much easier. But nowadays, the portability, I have been in, I had the opportunity 2.5 years ago to give a lecture at the Samsung High School in Korea, which is sponsored by the Samsung technology, Mr. Samsung, who died recently. And this would cost 100 million just to build it and set it up. But the school was really completely different for what we see in the Western world. There were no books, no backpacks for students. There was internet everywhere, but no Wi-Fi. So you could connect to internet, but you couldn't really use your mobile phone. The school was a boarding school 9 to 5. No books were allowed to take home after 5. And many really other characteristics of this school. They had technology that some universities don't have. And it was really a school of a dream, or a school of the future. But it's there already because someone had the money to pay for it. So the changes can come easier or faster if governments have the money to invest. So let me continue. This may be a classroom of the future. It exists today in some places, or maybe open spaces like this. You know, there are schools in the United States which have no classrooms. It's only open space. Students work in projects. There are such schools in Europe too, not 100% zero classrooms. In Holland, in Netherlands, a colleague of mine who built these schools with 700 students having only 8 classrooms. So only 1/3 of the students were in classroom, and the other students were in open space working on projects. developing competences and skills. This is one of the problems we have in schools. We give knowledge, we test knowledge, and after the test is finished, students forget everything and they are left with nothing. No competences, no skills. So we need to teach the students how to apply knowledge so they develop the necessary skills. And this is what the market is talking. This is what the industry is talking. They say we receive students even from universities who don't have skills. And the number three, the knowledge that we have, the degrees, comes number three in the preference of the industry when they choose employees. What is number two? Skills, they say. What is number one? What is number one? Communication. If I have this smartphone, and I know what this can do, that's knowledge. If I know how to use it, it's a skill. But nobody is going to hire me to sell this machine unless I can communicate to someone what this machine can do and how it works. So that's communication. We talk about science communication, mathematics science communication. Some of you who come to Euromath, they can see the math theater, science theater, math factor, science factor, like X factor. This is supporting communication. So I asked my friend in Netherlands, so your project was successful, what do you do now? They say they turn down walls in public schools so they can make more open spaces. So this is the future, and the future that nobody has this yet, or maybe the school I mentioned to you in Korea, reached education 4.0. It's a system of it's a system that can be adaptable to pandemics as well, because the pandemic more or less was kind of predicted accidentally by me in a TV show in Cyprus before the pandemic, when I was trying to make presentation. I was making many presentations like this, trying to explain to people how important digital learning is and how digital learning can help the teaching in the classroom, the learning in the classroom, because digital learning can save time from the teacher, so the teacher can provide more individualized learning to students. So accidentally, I was giving an extreme example of a possible virus that would keep the students 10 months at home. What will happen? How the students will learn? We were giving this as an extreme example, and it happened. And you know what is the next extreme example I give? Because we have another project to promote the international sign language. You know, the sign language is different from country to country. So a Cypriot deaf person, who, when he comes to Serbia to meet another deaf person, they cannot communicate because your sign language is different from ours, or is different from every country in Europe. And actually within the same country, sometimes there is difference. There is difference in sign language between Cyprus and Greece when we speak the same language. So what is the next challenge and possible? Imagine a new virus that will stop our hearing or our speaking for 10 months. What will happen? Then we're all going to learn international sign language to be able to communicate, right? We have it, but we don't learn it anywhere, but it's there. So this project, the new project, is trying to promote this. So what is Education 4.0? Is co-creation and innovation in the center. It's very student-centered, but the teacher will not be called teacher anymore. The teacher is going to be a facilitator for learning, a co-creator, etc. Because we are not teaching anymore. We are helping people to learn. This is the future. So teaching was more really part of the game, because teaching can be done in digital. I can make video of myself teaching anything to my students, and they can watch me on a video. Then the challenge for every teacher, and don't think that technology will replace teachers. The challenge of a teacher would be what? To make a video of the same content of material taught in 15 minutes, in 30 minutes, and in 45 minutes. Same content. Try to think if you can do it. It's not easy, but this is the future, because we need to create such videos, and we need teachers to develop skills to be able to create. Why? Because the smart student, the talented student, will watch the video in 15 minutes, the average student 30 minutes, and the weak student 45 minutes, and they can repeat. They can learn as much as they can, and then they go to school to do what? Learn how to apply the knowledge they receive and develop skills. That's the challenge. So whenever a flipped classroom, you know what is flipped classroom or hybrid learning environments, and I will tell you what is happening with the hybrid learning environments at the end. It has to happen everywhere, because what I can do in class, I should be able to do it outside the class. So there is more time for individualized learning. Learning is done at home or outside school, everywhere. Development of personalized teaching and learning should be coming ahead. Lesson plans are now called learning and creativity plans. The technology is free, should be free. Increase use of virtual reality, artificial intelligence, etc. Because we have to give experiences to students that they cannot live in reality. Continuous evolution and innovation, and therefore a need for development of competences and skills, so people become what? Adaptable to change. We don't have time to train teachers. We don't have time to train people. People have to have the skills to adapt by themselves. So this is what is happening. In Education 4.0, we don't have lesson plans because they became learning and creativity plans. What is needed? We had a project some years ago that ended in 2016. And one of the main outcomes of this project was this. The main issue today is no longer access to technology, but the capability to establish meaningful leadership for cloud-based learning, teaching, administration. So what did we do? We had another project following that from 2018 to 2020, very recent. So we created the certification, actually ended up, of tomorrow's cloud education leaders. So we developed a program and we discovered the competences that people need, teachers need, in order to become easily adaptable to change. And we had the University of Barcelona, who is an expert education department there, and we developed, there are 400, by the way, there are 432 competences in this world for people. We found the four of them, which are needed in order to develop this skill to the teachers. I have a video here, but I don't think I have much time, so I will move faster. But you can find it on the website. I will, but here is the website, and I'll give you the slide at the end, which gives all the websites I will mention. So all tools are moving to the cloud. About 80% of the tools the industry is using is on the cloud nowadays, and it's increasing. Some people are worried about security, so what do we have? We have cloud on premises to save secure data, like what banks are doing, etc. So bring your own device is part of the game. It's something that is comes into the education. Like bring your own device means bring any device you want, and I can help you learn, not teach you. I can help you learn. But this is a real picture. I don't know if you remember this picture from Facebook. It was circulated in Facebook many months ago, and you can see these kids from developing countries holding a pantofla, we call it whatever it is. And imagining what? An iPhone. They don't have it, but they saw this happening, right? And they smiled to it too. So what is this? Is a message to us that these people, as soon as they get internet and smartphones, whatever, they know what to do. Okay, new results to apply to support Education 4.0. Am I taking too long? I have many slides, but I will go fast. This is a project on STEAM, science, technology. Everyone knows STEM, everyone knew STEAM, but we introduced another E at the end, and this is for entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship was part of the priorities in the European Commission, because we want people to develop their minds in an entrepreneurial mindset. So what is needed? We need a model for STEAM schools. We need guidelines for STEAM activities in schools. We need guidelines for cooperation between teachers of different disciplines, new organization structures for STEAM schools, training for teachers, help them to adapt, and dynamic change in curricula, tools, and methods. This is what this project is doing. Because we asked the teachers, we asked the mathematicians, how can you do STEAM projects? What do you need to do? They said, I know mathematics, but I don't know biology, I don't know chemistry, I don't know arts, I don't know entrepreneurship, so I cannot do it myself. I need to cooperate with other teachers. Then there is another problem. I don't know how to cooperate with other teachers, really. I don't know what projects to do, because I know mathematics, the biologist teacher knows biology, but we don't know how to put it together because we don't understand each other. So we need to help teachers communicate, cooperate, for the sake of students. So we already published Output 1, which is Guideline for Dynamic and Adaptive STEAM Curricula. You can find on the website. At the moment, we develop many different learning and creativity plans, and I will show you where they are. And we are in the progress of designing a model for a future school. So if some European country wants to invest on a STEAM school, we will tell them what should look like. So here is the first publication. This is what it includes in here. We collected from 600 STEAM schools in the world the good practices. We took what is good from them to get ideas of what to design for the future. This is the STEAM Observatory. So we developed a STEAM Observatory. Let me take you there, where we put what? It's open and it's available and it's free for anyone to use it. And anyone to contribute also, we need to collect more. So we have some STEAM project outputs. You can find here templates for these learning and creativity plans in 5 different languages. If you want to translate it in Serbian and give us a copy in Serbia, we'll be happy to publish it. But here you can find for 2 age groups, 2 age groups. One age group is grade 7 to 9, and the other is grade 10 to 12. This type of projects, learning plans, can be done also for grade 5 or 6 sometimes if you have talented students. But here we have learning plans sometimes in more than one language. This is a learning creative for a customized e-shop, for example. Let me just open one quickly to see what it is. But there are workshops and also PowerPoint presentations. So here is a learning and creativity plan. It's about creating a customized e-shop. There are some real stories behind this, because during the pandemic, some students developed e-shop for their parents who were a farmer in order to sell olive oil and cheese in Greece. So it became a reality. So this is for ages 15 to 16. Here it gives some references, acknowledgements, whatever, teachers cooperation. There is one economist teachers and one technology specialist or computer science. STEM in life, applications in relation to real life. And then there are different stages. Learning goals for the learning and creativity plan. This is a like lesson plan, but it's advanced to support project work. Learning outcomes and expected results. Any prior knowledge required, motivation methodology used, preparation, space setting, troubleshooting tips, etc. Resources and tools, giving links as well, implementation with infographics or other type of material that the teacher may need. And then we give the model of 18-step cooperation between 2 teachers supporting a group of students in developing a project work, become creative. And of course, we give more solutions. We give a chance for the students to write a paper about their work and publish it in a journal. We made a special journal for students, and you can find it here. So here you can see the journal for STEM creations for and by school students. So students can work in projects, they can write their results, whatever, and they can publish it. And also we are organizing the first European STEAM conference coming up in June, hopefully in Cyprus. I hope we don't have to postpone it, but there is some co-funding available through the project to support the teachers to participate. We have some funding to support by about 100 and 120 euro per participant, so maybe enough for a ticket sometime. But the information is there and you can see it. So let me go back to the slides. So I mentioned the 18 steps cooperation between the teachers, the STEM and learning creativity plan. We also provide the evaluation rubric. how to evaluate students when they work in projects. So we have a recommendation here and examples completed. And of course, in progress now, we have what? We have how a future school should look like, and do some designs also. We had the survey gave some interesting results. They want to see more open spaces in schools, okay? And here on the statement that the STEM program should shape the education process of the school and not the other way around. The classroom should be designed for STEM activities, projects, etc., laboratories or whatever. And here is mentioning again what we're trying to do. We run focus groups now to discuss with experts what our findings are and how the school should be structured, designed. And then we're going to work with an architect to make a prototype design for a future school. I mentioned the journal publication. We also design a STEAM course for teachers. Teachers can use KA1 money to come if they like to participate, but we can provide some co-funding, as I mentioned, from the project. These are the modules for the course. It's designed for 4 days and it's planned for June to Cyprus if you are interested to participate. The Euromath and Euroscience conference is an international conference for pupils. It's designed for pupils. So pupils become conference participants. Teachers participate too. Teachers offer workshops for students. Students present their work, their whatever, in cooperation or individual. But we run 10 different competitions in this event. I have a short video. I don't know, George, I have time to show the video? Yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, it's 60 seconds, the video. I think I opened the sound. Okay, this is a short video because to see especially the math theater, science theater, math factor and science factor that we organize in this as a competition of a science communication. What else is coming up? The European STEM conference, which I mentioned, it's in June. If you can find information where I showed to you. There is a European STEM communication competition. This is for others. It's for teachers, actually, to communicate like a TEDx in 5 minutes to communicate STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics, and entrepreneurship. And this is going to be physical on 23 June, hopefully in Cyprus. We have to see if we can do it online as well. The Mathematics Journalistic Article Competition 2020 is sponsored by the European Mathematical Society. The theme for this year is the role of mathematics in STEM education. So this is for students. They should write, I think, about 1,000 words, journalistic article. And the finalists are invited to present live at the conference, okay? And this for students aged 10 to 19. You can find information on the on the STEM Observer. On the STEM Observatory, I forgot to mention that you can find information about STEM school sites, the STEM courses, the journal, any funded projects, any experiments, any STEM events, STEM infographics, and STEM competitions. Everything is here. You can find it. Okay, finishing soon. A European comic poster competition in STEM is another competition related to this project, the EI STEM, which is open and accepts. This is about presenting mathematics or STEM projects, STEM subjects in a comical way, make it fun for the students, but it should be a learning process as well. And then we have the STEM Summer Camp in the mountains of Cyprus in July, if you are interested. This is related to InnoMath project also, but with there we have many activities. There is a video for this, but I don't think we have time. And of course, related to pandemic, to finish, what is the next challenge? We applied and we have a new funded project called STEAM Goes Hybrid. It's going to start on 1st May. And the title is Blueprint Guidelines and Policy Recommendations. So whatever we design for STEAM activities in school, now we have to redesign it to go hybrid. So what happens when students are working in groups, right, in projects, some of them in school, some of them at home, all of them at home, teachers monitoring, assessing, evaluating, supporting, facilitating, everything on through a platform. As Mr. Bain said earlier, we need to change, okay? This is the challenge. We need to discover the change and to be able to do everything online. So STEAM Goes Hybrid is a new project that will start 1st of May and end after 24 months. These are the deliverables, the outputs of this project, but we producing policy recommendations as well that can be used by ministries. And here are the websites of everything I mentioned about, related to, and you feel free to use anything because everything is free and you can use it, download it, etc. Thank you very much. These are the partners of the STEAM project. And sorry if I took longer than expected.
Thank you, Professor Makridis. And I would ask Professor Rangelovic and Professor Makridis to upload their presentations, if they want, of course, in the chat, because I think that there are very interesting links that...
yeah, okay. I can put it, I don't know if the video would be possible, maybe it's too big, but I'll put the PowerPoint, okay?
Yeah, sure.
The video is available in the websites, okay?
Yeah, so...
All right.
Okay, and also I encourage you, if you have some comments, questions, you can put now in the comments, or after all speeches, you will be able to engage actively in the discussions. Now, I'm very happy to introduce my colleague from the Faculty of Mathematics, Professor Zorica Stanimirovic, who will talk about educational platforms. And she is here also on the behalf of the Mathematical Society of Serbia.
Thank you, George. Can I share my screen with you?
Yes.
Okay. I hope that's okay, that you can see it. Okay. Dear colleagues, good evening. It's my pleasure to participate in this conference and to present shortly some educational platforms that we have developed. Actually, I'm here as a member of, a working group for educational software that is developed by the members of Faculty of Mathematics, University of Belgrade, Mathematical Society, with the support of Mathematical Society of Serbia and GeoGebra Center, Belgrade. The head of our working group is Professor Miroslav Maric from the Department of Computer Science and Informatics, Faculty of Mathematics, University of Belgrade. And unfortunately, he was not able to join us tonight. In past years, we have been intensively working on many projects. And here on this slide, you can see the list of some developed platforms for distance learning. And I should mention that all of them are publicly available and free of charge. For example, we have here a platform entrance exam, final exam, e-collection. Then I will speak about these three platforms a bit later. Then we have a bunch of materials produced by GeoGebra Center of Belgrade, then Moodle system of Faculty of Mathematics, application Bridge of Mathematics, which is an interactive quiz for the competition organized by the society Young Mathematician, which is the host of this conference. Then we have a QLab, which is an open source software for numerical calculation. And then several electronic courses for programming, such as eSchool of Web, then eSchool of Python, electronic course for interactive learning of C#, and also a bunch of materials for improving digital competencies, video materials covering various mathematical topics, which can be used by both teachers and students. Tonight, I will shortly introduce three selected educational platforms, which are the most popular and mostly used here in Serbia among teachers and students. These are e-collection, final exam, and entrance exam. Entrance exam is a collection of tasks in mathematics for preparing entrance exam at the faculties. Final exam represents collection of tasks in mathematics and Serbian language for preparing final exam at the end of primary school. While e-collection is a platform containing mathematical tasks for senior grades in primary school. These platforms were created through the projects which were supported by the Ministry of Trade, Tourism and Telecommunication of the Republic of Serbia, coordinated by our Mathematical Society of Serbia, together with Faculty of Mathematics and the GeoGebra Center Belgrade. These platforms can be used as educational tools in digital classrooms, both for teaching, but also for preparation of homeworks and tests for students. I should also mention that these platforms are adapted to meet the requirements and needs of the students in the inclusion process. What is important that all three platforms are developed by using open source tools and such as MySQL, GeoGebra, HTML, and so on. And they can be used on the different types of modern devices, which is a requirement of the new age, such as mobile devices, laptops, computers, and so on, which makes them ideal for online learning tools. Shortly, what was our mission? Our mission was to create learning environment with equal chances and possibilities for all students, and to create platforms that are very easy to use and easy to navigate and is accessible on different electronic devices. It is also important to include teachers in the process of adaptation of materials, improving the platforms, and to ensure the constant upgrade of the content and the structure of the platforms in order to satisfy the needs of both teachers and students. Of course, it was also necessary to modify the platforms to meet the needs of the students and with special needs, so that a learning environment has the equal chances and possibilities for all students. Our main principles were the following. To design simple educational platforms that are easy to use and easy to navigate, which are open source and free of charge, and adapt structure and content to students' needs and capabilities. It was also important to have quick feedback. The students want to have answers to the given tasks at once, or to check if there are solutions, and to have solutions of the tasks solved by step by step. It was also important to have comments, impressions, and suggestions for both teachers and students in order to improve our educational platforms. And what was also important for the teachers' points of view, to have the possibility to create their own database of tasks and the possibility to print materials from the platforms. We are very proud to share this the information with you. Okay, of course, this is not it is a year-old information, but I would like also to mention that the project final exam, a platform for educational a platform for innovative sorry, I cannot see that whole title. We have a project final exam, a platform for increasing competencies for students with special needs in their inclusion in the educational process. This platform has been awarded by Innovative Practice Award of the International Competition Zero Project 2020, which was organized by ESSL Foundation and United Nations in Vienna in February 2020. And this was before the pandemic. This news was disseminated in a lot of TV and media stations, and also disseminated by the government of the Republic of Serbia. Let me now mention some numerical data about these three educational platforms to have the impression how popular they are. First, the two platforms, e-collection and entrance exam, contain over 50,000 tasks with solutions, which are grouped by grades and units, and the solutions are presented both in the short form and also in the form step by step. Within these two platforms, more than 4,000 teacher accounts have been opened so far. The number of users has exceeded 100,000, and in the middle of preparations for the final exam, over 5,000 users have accessed the platforms daily. So you can imagine how useful these platforms were during the pandemic, as soon as the pandemic started. I should also mention that our e-school of the web was very popular educational interactive course that over 5,000 users have attended this course per month on average. We are proud to on the fact that our efforts in developing educational software were recognized. And this software was recommended by Serbian Ministry of Education, Science and Technological Development, the Social Inclusion and Poverty Reduction Unit, and also by the government of Republic of Serbia and UNICEF, as a platform with educational resources for all levels for distance education. Educational software has been included in the official list of digital tools for children and students who need additional help and support during distance learning. Also, we are proud to say that the platforms e-collection, final exam, and entrance exam have been proposed and recommended by the Institute for the Advancement of Education as teaching materials for the preparing the final and entrance exam, and teacher materials for distance learning. And also other platforms created by our working group for educational software have also been recommended, especially eSchool of Web as the online resource for programming. I have prepared here some slides showing, illustrating the platforms of final exam, e-collection, and so here are first the slides showing the final exam platforms. I don't know how much time I have. I will just go quickly through them. Here are resources related to final exam of mathematics. Here are different levels of these tests and different units. So here, this is the slide showing the platform that is adapted to students with that need additional help in digital learning. Here is one mathematical task, so the solution that is not correct. Then we have here the slide showing the accessibility of this platform on different mobile devices. Here's the platform e-collection that contains over 12,000 tasks that are solved step by step. This schema shows how a teacher can easily adapt and create its own test. Here is the test that students can see. These are solutions in the form step by step. All students send their tasks to a teacher. These solutions are stored in the data in a table, and this table contains information on the students and the test number, and the teacher can has a link to a student answer and easily can access his solution. So teacher can also choose his create his own tests or add its own task to the database. Here are some statistical data, and here is a preparation exam. This is a collection of data for preparing entrance exam in mathematics for different faculties. These are slides showing the exam and the slides that are the part of the platform that is adapted to students with special needs. This is just a short introduction. These few slides just can make you have an impression about these platforms. I'm sure that many of you have already visited these three e-collections of our digital resources. If not, I invite you to go to the websites. There are links in one of the previous slides. We have put a lot of dissemination effort and presented these materials and platforms at many seminars, then in national and international conferences, even in schools, directly to students, to teachers. So we are very proud to the numbers of users from both teachers and student side. What are our future work directions? One of the main future steps is to develop a new platform for the final exam, which will be the improvement of the final exam platform that already exists. This would be done with the support of the government of the Republic of Serbia, Ministry of Education, Science and Technological Development, and the Institute for Education Quality and Evaluation. We plan to have a multilingual interface with Serbian language and 8 languages of other nationalities. Another step in our future work is to develop a platform for state exam at the end of the secondary education, then to enlarge and improve the existing database of tasks in e-collection for primary school, and to create e-collection of mathematical tasks for secondary school. This is something that this was a suggestion of many of the teachers from secondary school, that they would like to have e-collection for secondary school as well. And what we will also like to do is to develop analytical tools for discovering patterns in the students' thinking and response. Of course, we have a lot of much more plans, but these are some tasks for the future work that are, let's say, clear to us, and we will work towards their. Okay, I'm sorry, I left out the words. Thank you for your attention, and we are open for suggestions, for comments and cooperations. Please feel free to contact Head of Working Group for Educational Software, Professor Miroslav Maric, or me. and we will be happy to receive some comments and suggestions that will help us to improve our educational platforms, or to give us some new ideas for the future work. Of course, we would also be happy to cooperate within some national or international projects such as Erasmus and so on. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Stanimirovic, for a very clear, and congratulations for the success with the platform. I have to mention that Professor Maric and his team were recently awarded by St. Sava Award for Education, the highest educational award in Serbia. So we are very proud on the success of our colleague and friend, Professor Miroslav Maric. We are proceeding with the program further. I would invite Professor Frank Kalala from the African Institute of Mathematical Sciences in Senegal. Professor Kalala has big experience and big overview in current ongoing events in mathematical education, not only in Senegal, but in Africa, and I invite him to join us on the stage.
Okay, thank you very much for this invitation. And then I received the invitation last week, and then it was in connection with a great friend who is in South Africa. And then he invited me to join this event. And then I was really, really excited to be there and to be present and to share my experience, what was going on in Africa before the pandemic and after the pandemic. So I will more going into challenges, how things change, how the pandemic surprised us, and how we adapt to that pandemic, and then where we are and where we are going. So I will share my screen to show you something before I can move forward. So EMS is African Institute for Mathematical Science. Is a Pan-African network of centers. So we have 5 centers right now. We have 1 center in South Africa. We have in Ghana. We have in Cameroon, Kigali, and Tanzania. Senegal is one of them. So the first center was launched in 2003 in South Africa by Professor Neil Turok. And the aim of those M centers is to recruit young, talented Africans who cannot go abroad, and then they can come in those centers of excellence to be trained in mathematical science, to do research, to engage with the public, science, to technology in STEM, and to do more advanced stuff. And these are some event that happened. Let's say this is at M Senegal. So this was last year. We had a symposium of young Senegalese in mathematics and pure and applied maths. This was done here in Senegal. It was last year before the pandemic. And this is how Senegal initiated training course for research from Francophone in Africa. And then this was the ceremony of graduation. That was in June. This was in 2018, where we graduate 15 students. That was in June 15. We graduate 17 students from different countries. So at EMS, we recruit students coming from Africa, but for all over Africa. So we have that Pan-Africanist representation. And then if you go on this website down there, you can see the kind of stuff that is happening at EMS. Periodically, different events, and then this is where one can subscribe. And then if you go down there, We have the 5 centers. We have South Africa, Ghana, Rwanda, Senegal, and Cameroon. So these are the network of the different centers of EMS in Africa. Myself, I am an old alumni of EMS. I was recruited at EMS South Africa in 2006 and 2007. I was a student there, and then I was trained there to do mathematics, to do science, and then after that, I traveled and I went to Europe, come back again to Africa. Now I am the academic director of EMS Senegal, which is one of the centers, EMS Senegal. So I'm currently based in Senegal. So I wanted to give you first an idea what is about EMS. I will not go into technology, into something we developed, but as I mentioned, Africa was not kind of ready because it was a surprise. We were not ready in the sense of technology and industry. Africa was not ready at that side. That was really, really a big problem for us. The pandemic just started. What we're going to do? And then one of the characteristics of EMS is interaction, lecturers and students. So lecturers, they are coming at the EMS centers, they are teaching for 3 weeks, and then they interact with students, they sit with them together, they eat together. For example, you can see students on the beach, they are playing, they live all together, they stay in the same building, and then the lecturer talk to them for 3 weeks. You can see here, it's always in group. Now what's happened? Pandemic is there. What can we do? What can we do? So this is EMS Senegal. At the beginning, so we say, okay, let isolated students, but for how long? We can't just wait. For how long will we isolate students? So we had to move slowly to apply a new technology. Means that to introduce the online teaching. So we say, okay, let's introduce the online teaching and see where we can get and how online teaching transform our habits. So one of the problem, how to solve those kinds of problems. So we coordinated virtual group activities among students and lecturers. So we use the chat, we use the discussion on the boards. So then we can ask the lecturer, for example, to show his face and to interact with the student by voice. They can see him. And then we schedule regular meeting with the student by email or by chat. Then we had some technological difficulties. So let me go to the particular case of Senegal, how this evolved. So then I will share another screen. Let me end this one, then I will share another one. Okay, let me end this screen. Let me stop this. Then I'm sharing another one. The one I will share will be just a couple of, let's say, historically evolution, how all this went on. So this is a particular case of EMS Senegal. So in this picture, it was 1 year ago. So that was a workshop on data science. So I'm in the front there with one guy beside of me, he's wearing white. I'm beside of him in blue. It was a workshop in data science, and students were sitting together, and then you can see that we used to project the PowerPoint on the board, and then we talk and they can ask questions. It was really, really perfect from there, but we never know what was happening before. So then a few years ago, then this picture is just the time of the pandemic. Before we reach this point, we spend a lot of time to think what we're gonna use. And then we say, okay, look, we can't bring lecturer at EMS Senegal or at EMS in general as I present, why not if we move online? So that we moved online, we create some lab with some desktop, students are sitting there, and then you can see the lecturer on the projector. That lecturer is in California. He was teaching the course of mathematical logic. And then each student can follow the lecturer on the screen, or the lecturer can show himself and they can see the student. And then one of the challenge, the lecturer wants to see all the students, for example. That's a big problem. Then we can turn on the camera, you can see all the students, or you can see one student. and then he can speak, but human interaction is a really a big problem because students were not used to that kind of teaching. And the lecturer, the other side of the world, he doesn't feel the strength, he doesn't feel the tension. You want to make sure the student is there. And then it's like you want to touch the student. Most of the time he asks, can you turn your video? Can you turn your camera? I want to see you, and so on. Yeah, that's one of the challenge. And that's how we are doing here in Senegal. So here is inside the classroom where the students are teaching, but you realize one fact, they are not wearing masks because the COVID evolved in a certain situation here in Senegal. At the beginning, the pandemic was quite higher, and then it was going down. And so people necessarily don't wear masks. And then here we say, okay, what can we do? Because the lecture is on the other side of the world, what can we do? We hire what we call teaching assistants. Teaching assistants are those advanced PhD students. They can be in the lecture room while the professor is teaching from far online. So you can see there is a teaching assistant who is beside students to try to complement the lecturer who is online. So the lecturer online can teach for 10, 15 minutes, and the teaching assistant in the classroom can complement the lecturer who is far, try to give more explanation to the students, and the students can discuss among them. This is a kind of things we have put on place. So the lecture online, teach for 20 minutes, you set up a problem, and then the students discuss among them for 20, 25 minutes with a teaching assistant on the ground. Once they finish, then the teaching assistant can summarize and tell the lecturer online how much the student have understood. And then, as I said, there is a lot of challenge. So then one lecturer from France, Professor Vincent Rivasso, last week he was teaching the course of graph theory and application. He wanted to see the student on the board doing the exercises. So he said, okay, student, go on the board and then let your colleague take a small video so I can see what you are doing. It's really, really challenging. And then I'll show you what was going on here. You see there, the students, they're discussing. One is writing on the board, and the one in the middle with his camera, and then the lecturer from far, you can see what he's doing. He's writing on the board and he's asking a question, and it's working. There is another camera which is in this classroom, but on the other side. So we also use this. So the student is on the board, and then we turn on the camera such that the lecturer who is far away, he can see what the student is writing down. So let me close this and share another one in a second. Yeah, let me share this. This is just an image. So hold on a second. So let me stop this. Let me stop this. Share. Take this one and share this. Hold on. Let me stop because this is an image. Let me take just the document. Hold on a second. Okay. So. Okay. Okay. So give me a second. So let me take that document.
In the meantime, I forgot to say that Professor Francalara is the first African speaker at our conference, and we are really glad that he joined us tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. So let me see. Yeah. Give me a second. So this is what I didn't want to show. So let me come back to the last slides where I was, and then I will summarize my message, and I can, let's see, allow other people to continue. So this is, I wanted to show this last slides, and you can see the board is full there, and then you have the projector, there is a camera behind them, and then the student in the middle is using another camera. So I want to say that Africa was surprised. Africa was not ready, technology-wise, Africa was not ready. And then we stayed for so long, like 6 months, without teaching, without doing anything. And then I learned a lot from this talk, from the talk of my previous colleague. They present something really, really interesting. I think the second who spoke, I forgot, I don't know his name. And then he was showing those kind of tools and so on. And then I think I'll interact with him to benefit from that. But this is what we are doing right now in Senegal, and it is working. So also, then the lecturer can see what the students are writing in both. And then they want to know how much really the students have understood from the lesson, have understood from the section. And then this is what the students they do. They write on the board, and the lecturer can ask a question. And then we can complement this by the teaching assistant, myself, but it's really, really, really a great of work, a great of job, but we don't have choice. We don't have choice. We are in it. We have to move with it and then adapt to it and see what other colleagues are doing, and then we can do it here. This is the case for Senegal, but Africa-wide, it should be almost the same things. But we have 5 centers of excellence. Each center has its own specific, its own way of implementing this kind of teaching online, but it's almost of the same. I'm speaking on behalf of all the other centers. Maybe later we can extend the experience to other centers and some other colleagues. Thank you very much. This is the little things I prepare in terms of challenges, in terms of how Africa joined this, in terms of how much Africa was prepared to this, in terms of where we are going, and what we are doing currently. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Kalala, for your very interesting contribution and slide. I think that European community should collaborate much more with Africa, and I am sure that this is one of possible way to strengthen our ties with not only with Senegal but with other African countries, as we should build bridges to all nations and all continents. The next speaker is Mr. Evgeny Shirayev from Workshop for Science from Moscow, and I invite Mr. Evgeny to present his talk.
Thank you, George. And I would like to check my sound. Could you tell me whether I'm muted or can you hear me?
We can hear you very well.
Thank you. I was given with 7 up to 10 minutes, and I will try to stay in bounds of that time, and maybe leave some time for questions. So I will present a small talk on one of our products of our modest company. It consists of 2 engineers, 2 mathematical methodologists, and several teachers. So I start my presentation. I'll begin with several items of equipment that we used to produce for my previous place of work. It is Polytechnical Museum in Moscow. The equipment, it consists of a variety of models that we can interact with, or students can interact with, and the aim is to provide a student or a teacher who works with that type of equipment to provide them with the possibility to organize a case or situation in which some fact or some property of an object should be explained. So, like There's one parabola which appears in the intersection, in the vertices of intersection, in the grid, which contains straight lines, family of straight lines, parallel lines, and coaxial circles. Or another type of equipment is a planar mechanism, which breaks an angle into 3 equal parts, and that is the another chance to review or teach concepts of parallelogram. So parallelogram has 2 pairs of opposite equal sides, and the same with this one shape, and 3 similar shapes being collected into one mechanism provided with the same with the property that I have said. This mechanism divides an angle into 3 parts. So explanation of how this mechanism works means that you need to prove the property of that green shape, which is called antiparallelogram. And if we think of organizing a lesson, a student usually cannot come to the idea on his own. Usually he needs another person to communicate with, and that is the reason why this thing is useful in organization of a lesson. Another thing that I can apply to go over concept of LCM, the least common multiple, that can be applied to students of the 5th or 6th grade when they don't know this definition, this subject. So I can formulate several problems for that gears and their connection, and realizing how do they work will give you the concept, will give the student the concept of LCM. That is how we used to organize our lessons. And by the way, all the things appeared not as an exhibit for some mathematical museum, but they appeared to fulfill some lesson plans, some curriculum. So we need in our curriculum, in our approach, active approach, we try to focus on the actions of a student, of self-actions of students, not on what a teacher says, what the teacher explains, and I will explain further why did we choose that concept. And these things allowed a student to focus on something which was outside his mind, and to lay hands on. So we tried several ideas how it can be magnified, and how to introduce more students in the discussion, and that is the covering of one school whole, in which we can give several laboratory works of mathematics devoted to the theorem of central and inscribed angles. And the problem, so now I would like to proceed to the main topic of this conference. And by the way, I express my gratitude, and I say thank you for all the organizers and my chance to participate in the discussion of this arts of the day topic. And what do I experience when I teach mathematics? So I do it remotely in the United States of America, in Russian School of Mathematics, and I also have students in Russia, and I live in Berlin, Germany. Therefore, I have students here. I have some private students here. I can focus on several disadvantages of remote teaching, and one of them is it is a report of one of my classes, and mostly the students scored 100%. Some of them solved additional problems, and they score plus 16 points, but almost 80% of the class scored at least 83%. And therefore, if I get this report, then it is a homework report. I'm expected, as a teacher, I'm expected to conclude that the topic is clear to my students. But when I look more thoroughly at problem number 20, I can see that almost every second student, half of the class just guessed, because Akshat had 4 attempts to submit his answer, and before he submitted his answer. The same with Suhan, and in the same some more had 5 attempts. So my conclusion is that sometimes students, when I communicate with my students via tests and some problems to which I expect them to submit answers, it means that I will, even if I get good results, I shouldn't lay on them. I should get whether my students understand, and that is the problem. Those who understand usually submit, usually upload their paper homework, but mostly they try not to do it, and that is a good sign for me to check understanding on the next lesson. So usually I deal with some questions. I meet some questions which I need to give myself an answer to. So one of them is whether I understand just explained concept when we come over a new topic, and what kind of activity should I introduce now during a lesson which will help my class to realize the concept, and several other questions. That is, so answers to these questions usually give me something like marks or points which direct me during organization of my lesson, and I try to uh, use the previous experience to organize the coming lesson. So there are new questions that I need to. Some of the questions are new to me, and I didn't meet them when I worked offline in a real class. And in the last year, 2020, my team was employed in one company, a rather big company. If you know, it is Sberbank in Russia. It is one of the biggest company, um, and they tried to dig into the field of education. So they asked out. They suggested my team to develop a mathematical concept of an online platform system which could be used by teachers, and we tried to focus on ideas that we would like to realize in this system. One of them is the idea or the thesis is that students usually understand the result of their own action, not the repeated words of a teacher. So if I repeat my words very good, I am absolutely satisfied in the way I explain something, that is not still a reason for my student to understand what I'm talking. So I cannot replace my knowledge directly in the head of my student. He can understand, he or she can understand if after the action is performed by themselves. An action can be distributed. Another idea is that an action can be distributed between several students. That is something like collective intellect. So sometimes I need to try to, if I'm a student, I need to explain how do I understand the concept or how did I solve the problem. And another student needs to give some feedback on the solution or to find a mistake. So the distributed discussion during lesson, that is what organizes the way of thinking. So when I do something with my hands, when I solve a problem, when I give my feedback, that is all the necessary parts of teaching. That is another idea. And uh, collective intellect is what should be organized by a teacher or by a teaching system. And another idea is maybe it is natural only in Russian, but so I don't have enough arguments to say it is the worldwide actual idea. But we noted that uh, in the years starting from the 70s of the previous century and up to the end of the century, mathematics was taught, and programs of mathematics were developed to present mathematics in school, in high school, as a small model, a small copy of a science. So mostly mathematical types of mathematics which are taught in the university are also taught in more primitive, more elementary way in the secondary and high school. Now, mathematics is in university is mostly different, is much more different from the from its variety, its art of the moment state, which was approximately 50 years ago, and therefore teaching of mathematics as a knowledge sometimes is not necessary, is not useful for students. But mathematics allows another option, is to develop of mind for a student who is taught by who teaches mathematics, who study mathematics. So therefore, we can provide cases in which a student can analyze how did they solve a problem, or what was the lack in his knowledge when he was confused, when they was confused by a problem. So mathematics teaches us to analyze how do we study. So that was the third idea, and we decided to develop curriculum and develop a teaching model, teaching system in which students are expected to be confused by a problem. That is the first step when studying a new topic. So at first we give a problem that should confuse, but of course it is sometimes it is not natural, because if you feel confused, then you lose your interest. And that is another idea, that is another instrument we would like, that is another property of the system that we would like to introduce in, is to provide a teacher with some methods to organize discussion. And that is my theme. That is my theme. That is the topic I speak about. Organizing discussion on a confusing problem among students. That is what we try to lay as the basis of a system. We tried to lay as a basis. And I would like to show you one part of that, to present you one part of that curriculum, that system, teaching system, and this topic is a numerical system. You can see the mechanism which counts in binary system, and small small animation of this electronic version. I'm sorry, I didn't have enough time to translate it to English, and but you will see how does it work. Usually we have a problem, and I guess, by the way, that my Serbian friends can read it because it is Slavic language. So we can organize a part of the lesson presenting some discussion of actors and their words and their phrases, and at some moment, students in class or students in Zoom or other remote teaching system can participate in that discussion, and a teacher can assign some role, some person to be the actor, which will be presented further by some student. So that is the way to start discussion among the students of the class. And then some other methods can continue that discussion, can give the way to continue that discussion. And a big problem, even a big problem, can be solved in this way. So there is a problem condition in that rectangular frame, and it deals with the repository of bricks, and usually the bricks come in packages of 100 in the system of binary of base 8, 1000 in the system of base 8 portions. And yesterday 57 in base 8 bricks were replaced to some house, and then there were another 23 base 8 bricks to be removed there, and 5 base 8 stones, or 5 base 8 bricks are in the repository. The question is whether it is possible to perform some requests, and the actors start discussion one of the actors participates with his method to calculate. So he presents that table, that method to add numbers in that base 8, that base 10 system. But you see, there are no numbers in the column and in the horizontal row, only dots. So they represent numbers. We come out, we'll try to avoid digits. And then, step by step, there is a dialogue. And finally, the students construct another instrument to add numbers in base 8 system. And that is the dialogue presented by some actors, but it is usually presented, it is expected, and it was tested to be replaced to students. So they start discussion and they play roles of that actors, and new phrases and new words they pronounce by themselves. So that is the way we try to combine some equipment, some teaching techniques, and the way to organize discussion. I don't know. I got a message of ad block. I don't know what I did with it. So I stopped my demonstration. And by the way, that is what I wanted to say. That's it.
Thank you, Evgeny, for very nice talk. And it was really nice to see Russian Cyrillic alphabet, which is very similar to Serbian Cyrillic alphabet, and I suppose that most of us understood the problem with which was on the slides. If you can, I think that also upon on the comments, I am sure that participants would like to have your slides as well. So we are running a bit late, so I will invite Sanja Mihajlović, our old friend from Romania, and she participated with her former school in the bridges of mathematics in Vrnjačka Banja, and we are very we are happy to see her again this evening, and looking forward to see Sanja in Vrnjačka Banja soon.
Dobro večer svima. Good evening. Drago mi je što se vidimo i nema veze što smo u ovi, ajde kažemo tako, teški trenutkima, ali meni čast i zadovoljstvo što smo zajedno ipak. Kao što je rekao i profesor Grigorije malo pre, znate, ja sam taj učenik koji je naučio brzo ono što je trebao da nauči, pa morao da se snađe nekako. A hoću da kažem da napisala sam nekoliko reči na engleski, ali prezentacija mi je na srpskom. Mislim da nije to jako... Mogu da napravim prezentaciju, jel tako, iako je na srpskom jeziku?
Da.
Kao prvom, ja sam bila u prvi deo konferencije. Ja sam pomislila da juče bi trebalo da učestvujem. Posle videla sam da sam danas i napisala sam neke reči na engleskom, ali prezentacija mi je ponovo, kažem, na srpskom.
Ćeš moći na engleskom da pričaš?
Mogu. Samo molim da me pomogneš da napravim share screen.
Share screen je dole u tabli.
Ok, napravila sam to i sad.
For other participants, Sanja is Serbian who is living in Romania, and she's as you can see, she's speaking Serbian, and she will deliver her talk in English. But as she was planned for yesterday, her slides are in Serbian. So we apologize, but you will understand because she is going to speaking English, and she wanted to say a few sentences in Serbia to greet all of us. So,
da li vidi se moj PowerPoint?
vi vidimo neki samo ekran tvoj, a nije PowerPoint.
Ajde sad ponovo, ako bi mogao da mi pomogneš, zato što, evo ja uključujem PowerPoint sad.
Možda da prekineš share screen.
Da prekinem ponovo?
Da. I onda da otvoriš taj PowerPoint pa da kreneš, da kad ideš share screen, da direktno otvoriš. Da pritisneš PowerPoint. Mislim da je to najbolje.
Ajde sad.
Vidimo.
Vidimo? To je. Vidi se, je li tako?
Da, vidimo lepo.
Dobro, evo. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sanja Mihajlović, and together with Cristina Filip, we are representing school number 25 from Timișoara, Romania. I'm a math teacher, and also I'm assistant director, but my friend, Cristina Filip, she's the main principal. She's not here with us, but she's sending her regards to you. At the beginning of the pandemic, the education system was hit by unknown and chaos. At the end of 2020 academic year, Romania switched the classical teaching method to online teaching. The education system in Romania is organized on 4 stages. We have kindergarten starting from 3 years old, primary school starting from 7 years old, secondary school starting from 10 years old, and high school starting from 14 years old. In 2020, the most important exams in Romania, which make possible the transaction between the secondary school and the high school, we are called national exam, and from high school to university were held on classical circumstances. The only difference was the international rules during the pandemic. Some lessons were evicted from the exam curricula in order to fit the new scenario. The scenario. When I say scenario, I mean that was 3 national scenarios that we are followed. Red scenario, when all the children were online, so no one has do a lesson face-to-face. The yellow scenario, face-to-face teaching only for the people, only for the children who are preparing for exam. In our country, we said 8th grade and 12th grade. And the green scenario, everyone is learning from school. So we are face-to-face, all of us. In general, in the village, we are able to start the academic year in green scenario. But in the rest of the cities, we are follow the yellow scenario. So we have a hybrid, we are saying, trying to do teaching. The whole country use G Suite for Education and Google Classroom, facility supported by the Ministry of Education. There were a new email address given to all teachers and all pupils. The login into Google Classroom was possible by only using the new email address. Most of the teachers went physically to school teaching from there while children were online at home. For those who couldn't afford a smart device, there were smart devices given from the government. So the children who didn't have a smartphone or a smart device or something like a laptop or something like desktop, the community and the government give them help and support with that. Just a second, please. speaking of the relationship with the people, there was difficulties regarding communication, but also we are logging some problems. There are problems between communication teachers and parents as well. Was I don't know how to say it, but our parents here in Romania were a little, I don't know, maybe some panic created because we are something like exposed to the online, and they are not agree with online teaching. From my point of view, the point of view of the math teacher, I can say the situation is complicated. We use Google Classroom. The tests are designed in Word Office and then switch to PDF. By using the share screen facility, we present the test and the children are uploading the answer to the platform. We also use Jamboard, Google Forms for evaluation. Some of my colleagues use Zoom or Teams or Microsoft Teams or Moodle platform. But our school and in the Romania, we are using all Google Classroom and G Suite for Education. The national exams are going to be held normally following the safety rules. Most of the, most of the concourse or most of the contests were moved to online, and some of them they were cancelled. We are trying to do the best for our children. We are trying to learn how fast we can, and we support first of all the parents, and support first of all the children from our school. So thank you. I just forgot to move the presentation. So this is my presentation for today.
Thank you, Sanja.
I hope my English wasn't so bad.
No, I think that everybody understood everything, and we also have another friend from Finland, Professor Kristof Fenivesi from University of Jyväskylä and Finnish Institute for Research in Education, and founder of the experience-based STEM Global Network workshop from Finland. And Professor Kristof is well known to Serbian mathematical community because he was guest in our manifestation May Month of Mathematics, and he's collaborating with the Center for Science Promotion. And I asked him to join the stage and to unmute himself. Kristof. He is not here. While we are waiting for Kristof, I will ask for just short presentation of another Saint Sava award. She's a math teacher from primary school Vuk Karadžić in Belgrade, Marina Lakčević. Kristof is here, so
yes.
Yeah, how are you, Christoph?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah,
so it's my time.
Yeah, it's your time. Just
Okay.
I want to say one sentence that I forgot. May month of mathematics celebrates this year 10 years, and it is with the 75th obituary of Mathematical Institute of the Serbian Academy is another important jubilee of mathematical community in Serbia. And unfortunately, this year we cannot have our friends in person, but we hope that this pandemic will end and see you again in Belgrade. Krishna, just unmute yourself.
Thank you, Georgia. I'm not able to unmute myself, but I hope I will be able to share my screen. So I'm really thankful for Radica Karovic, Tatjana Stankovic, Banja Radejlovic, and Georgia Baralic for organizing this wonderful event. I definitely enjoyed all the talks. There was a little delay in the last minute because of the pandemic situation. I'm also at home and my daughter just trying to sleep. So please forgive me for this little break. So now let me share my screen. It's the title of my talk is STEAM Engagement in the Era of Social Distancing, Hybrid Experiences. As you can see, I try to use this hybrid experience in a literally meaning that we have definitely really hybrid experiences, but also in the technical meaning as we started to call this new situation, what we are experimenting with to try to keep that more than 1 billion children in the loop of organized education, but we are keep failing, unfortunately, and this is the situation what we need to face. As Georgia just mentioned, the best things what I know about STEAM learning and mathematics I learned from Serbians. And these Serbians were not only Nikola Tesla, but there were other people like Professor Slavik Jablan, whom I keep remembering, especially when we are in the realm of Misanu, what was also Slavik's cradle, and his thoughts were really long lasting there, as I can see also from this event. So thank you for bringing forward this great spirit from Slavik Jablan. And just as you mentioned, Georgia, I can't wait to stand again on the bank of the river and do these activities in the spirit of Slavik Jablan. You were really happy to see some Cyrillic writing. So I put here also the cover of this book, which I was happy to contribute to. And I hope that at least this book and this kind of activities offer some hope also during these times of the pandemic. Let me start with an invitation. So we will have on the 21st of April, the United Nations Creativity and Innovation Day. The first one we celebrated together when the pandemic just outburst. You can imagine celebrating creativity and innovation in the start of the pandemic. And we will repeat it this year because we need hope in these times. And as you can see, we are not alone. So Andreas Schleicher, the father of PISA testing, will also contribute to the event, and also Vice Director of OECD Research, Stefan Vincent Lenkrin. So you are warmly welcome to this event. It's free to join, and you will find the link in the chat soon. So my name is Christoph Fenyvesi. I'm working on STEAM learning in Finland. STEAM is the integration between science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And I'm trying to be active in publishing about this topic, but of course the starting point was always mathematics and art connections, and all the STEAM environment just reaching out from this core of mathematics and arts in my activities. And now I'm also working in the Institute for Educational Research in Finland, and in the research group of innovative learning environments. So this also means not only the physical environment of learning, but also the mental environment and also the digital environments of learning. So you can imagine that we have a lot of work in these days to study what's going on and trying to understand what's going on. Definitely we need some distance from this situation, not only in terms of social distancing, but just to understand and draw the consequences of what's going on, because it seems that it's most serious situation in this generation, and it will remain with us for many generations after us. So that's why we try to coordinate STEAM teachers' work. Also, we have many networks. You are welcome to join. I will try to post some websites during the discussion so you can join. And we are also running Experience Workshop Global STEAM Network, which is a STEAM network for well-being, for boosting collaborative creativities. So we believe that if we talk about creativity, we need to use plural, and we need to talk about many kinds of creativities, and we need to bring close children and youth and everybody to the phenomenon around us, different phenomena. And we need to build creative communities. So in the pandemic time of social distancing, you can imagine how challenging it is, because as you can see the pictures without writing anything, you can see that the proximity, so not the distance, but the proximity and direct contact is absolutely very important when we talk about hands-on education, and even the digital versions what we are using are really requiring this close touch, and collaborative problem solving is really a social activity. So we really need to think critically also on the situation in these terms. And this, I just show these pictures from South Africa. We have a speaker from Senegal today. So I think he understands very well what this joy of learning means in community. You can see in these pictures, I was really feel lucky that this transformative experience I had in Africa, not only this transformative experience of the pandemic, what we are going through in these days. So when we say this embracing the uncertainty, this is a very romantic description of what's going on. We really don't want to embrace this. We rather would like to embrace each other again, I'm sure. But here we have this virus, and still we also been prepared for this interestingly. So if you read some existentialist philosophers like Kierkegaard, there is nothing new in this unexpected, in this radically unexpected situation. And if you were critically reading and doing 20th century science, this was told to us: uncertainty principle, indeterminacy, undecidability is all around in the 20th century science. That was these main ideas which revolutionized science. So what's going on now that we still feel unprepared for this situation, of course, because it's over, this beyond our normal scope, it's beyond our limits. And though in the same time, when you think about what is inquiry-based learning means, what is discovery learning and experience-centered and playfulness means, that there is a high uncertainty factor in this. So why not we take seriously this uncertainty element in this, and try to think about how to include this uncertainty and how we can learn from this uncertainty, what we really dramatically experiencing in these days. And it's also interesting the role of science. Everybody's talking about citizen science nowadays, that how the social structures need to understand what's the goal of science, and to protect about fake science, protect against fake news, you know it. But still, what we wait from science, we wait answers. But in the same time. Why don't we understand that maybe science role is not precisely to give the perfect answer, but rather to make better and better questions. And this is how it goes forward. And I think this can be also important experience also for teaching and talking about science and the role of science and the role of inquiry in our society. So what's happened when this pandemic struck on us? So of course, in our teacher education courses, my students started to create digital materials for their courses. They tried to adapt to the situation. You can see some of the examples, but they introduced also online and tested online during the pandemic time. And also you can see this is the diagram about Finnish core competencies in the Finnish core curriculum. And you can also see that thinking and learning to learn, and also the sustainability idea and development as a human being and as a citizen is absolutely in the core of this. So even in this pandemic situation, we need to try to bring these values forward, and adaptation and flexibility is definitely needed, and this was what we experienced also, how our programs changed. So we were supposed to do STEAM workshops, a lot of hands-on activities. First, we of course mapped with the help of Raydon Tvarok. Many of you know her. She's best expert of virus geometry, how this virus looks about, and how we could model it together with children. Of course, we learned that our model is not so good, because the problem with the coronavirus is that it's not this regular structure, but it's more irregular in many ways. So it's really hard to protect against, because also the geometrical features, that's another interesting property to learn about. We also learned with the children how to eat candy safely using sanitizers, and how we could use algorithmic thinking to think about our actions and what you do, how you wash your hands in the algorithmic method, and also in computational thinking way, how you open the candy box and how you eat the candy in safe way. That's also another opportunity to think about. And of course, many great Serbian friends. So Natalia Budinsky supported with 3D printing the healthcare people working in the front line, and actually her students created these shields with the 3D printing, with 3D modeling. So GeoGebra was real in the frontline action in these days. Who thought 2-3 years before that GeoGebra will be in this serious situation? But of course, this is nothing new for STEAM, because the origins of STEAM, as we can see also in this Korean textbook, it was really about survival and how to go through extreme situation and be surviving in serious situation. That was part of learning programs already in STEAM education. And of course, as it went forward, we couldn't travel anymore. But you could see in this picture that my workshop in Indonesia, based on the Serbian methods, this is from the same book which I just shown you. It still was possible on some ways. Of course, these are the bright side of the moon now, which I'm showing now. But also in Romania, with our partners in Transylvania, it was similar experiences. We had teachers wanted to learn in this situation. They wanted to be more expert in hybrid learning, and we needed to serve them. And this led also to reach out to lockdown schools. So the school was closed, but we still were able to bring the day of mathematics for 500 children with the help of Therese Balázs, who is also here with us today, and Csilla Lázár. And also, as you can see, the ambassador of this whole program. Andreas from the Imaginary was also joining us. So definitely creative ecologies, to look at schools as creative ecology and to look at creativity as a diverse phenomenon will help us to survive also in this hard situation, even when teachers are really left aside on the road and no one really care of what's going on, just to have some safe place for the kids while we are working, right? So this was really the main message. I definitely disagree with this, but still creativity was helping us to survive, and also this kind of experiences to share. Teachers can share experiences like in the format of this kind of events is definitely helpful. So one thing, if we can learn something, I think the collaboration between teachers, that teachers can recognize that they really can count on each other, and how the organization can support this collaboration between the teachers. This will be the key to this team, and also the key to survive in this kind of situations, and also to understand that there are psychological uncertainty, that's natural, that's part of our life, and in extreme situation, this really put us on the ground. But there is a different uncertainty, which is scientific and epistemological uncertainty, and we always need to make the difference between this, and also think also critically what's the role of the science. So before the pandemic, some months before, I was lucky to be in Japan, and I had the fortune to meet with this beautiful girl who is actually an artificial being. Saya, I was really happy to discuss with her. She's very clever. I really enjoyed conversation with her, but I also had to see that in addition to the high tech, we definitely need to find out the way how to keep the high touch. Okay, so not only high tech but high touch. This is what we need, even in metaphorical way or physical way. We need to find out these ways. And this is a proof also what South African children really shown to me in the form of these beautiful artworks, which I would like to show to you as a end of this talk. You can see their belief and their ideas represented, their expectations to science learning are really strongly represented in these works, and also their loneliness and their worries, and also that they really need or high touch and helping hand even in this pandemic situations, because they maybe think even more critically and even more deeper than we would ever think. And they also have their expectations from their school, and these are quite high expectations, as you can see also from this artwork. So I really wish you to never be tired to fulfill these extremely high expectations that are coming from the students. Please try as colorful as they are here in these artworks, even in these critical times, and like flow like water among rocks, and find your way with the help of these wonderful people who also organize these kind of events, to have the possibility, even in the midst of pandemic, to meet, to exchange thoughts, and to give each other hope. So thank you very much for your attention, and I really wish to meet you again and hug you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Christoph, for this wonderful talk and wonderful slides. And I apologize because I will be a little bit selfish, but I have to advertise that the official motto of this year manifestation May of a month of mathematics is the arts of the formulas. And I really enjoyed these paintings, which really fit nice in our agenda for this year. And as you mentioned, also Imaginary and Andreas, I use this opportunity to invite all colleagues to visit, to follow the program plan for this May. We will have the exhibition La Lab, mathematics in music done by Imaginary in the building of Mathematical Institute of the Serbian Academy of Sciences and Arts. Also follow the Facebook pages of the May month of mathematics to be informed and on time on a beautiful program we are preparing for you. Okay, so we finished this official presentations, and we will invite for a short presentation Ms. Marina Lakčević, who is, as I said before, the winner of St. Sava Award in education, and she's coming from primary school Vuk Karadžić in Belgrade. And after Marina, you will be able to unmute yourself and post directly your questions to the panelists, and also to discuss other ideas and thoughts you have. So is Marina ready?
Yes, I am. I have to say good evening to everyone. I'm Marina Lakčević, a teacher from primary school Vuk Karadžić from Belgrade. In majority, you are all of mathematician, and the story of this conference is online teaching for the past year and for the next years and generation. I will briefly review the application of mathematics and its learning through international projects. And from this occasion, I have to greet my dear friend Zeki Kučak, Sevgi Osduk, Yusuf Topolaku, who is with us tonight, and other who is present, because the projects international that we are doing together all are the STEAM projects, and we are doing it for a long time. I will show you a little video and some part of the project that you see that the topic is most important for the teacher. Some teacher, when see the topic of the project, they don't want to include themselves, but every project has the mathematics in itself. The theme of this project that we are doing together is Drama Atoleyem on the Turkish. That's Turkish project. On English, that is Drama Workshop, and it contains mathematics, and the students accept it in a very, very simply and interesting way. Do it with some motivation that I can explain you. They asked me to come to school to work. The director has approved us, and you will see just a little part of our work. I will share my screen. This is a screen of the project Drama Atoleyem, and this is what Zeki Kučak do. This was his idea for the project. All of the members have to put the sticks one by one, etc., and we make a very big triangle. I will stop this now, and I will just a second. I have to move this. I will put you the video what we are doing of their ideas. Our students were delighted with this.
Sorry, Marina, your sound is not shared.
I think there is no sound from this part of the video. It is just to see the procedure, what we are doing. On the Zeki's idea, students came to idea that we bought sticks from different colors and to make a triangle. They have 10 and 11 years and they enjoy to make equal triangle. Then we make a pyramid and I have to explain them how all their works, all formulas, mathematics, you can see drawing on the table, and they was fascinated. That is the thema that they work in 6th, 7th grade. They don't work that at that age. That will be that video for now. I have to show you just one more video from project who's called Puzzle Hunters. Also doesn't have anything with mathematics. When you start to work on that project, you think that there are projects, something new, but maybe that something is mathematics is in all projects that we need, and every free software. I will skip this first part when we have a webinar. This is some Web 2 out where you can use it however you want. You may play games, you may make games, you may presentation, you may do just what you want with this. Children was awesome. There was this webinar was 4 hours and more doing. They were great for them. There was, I can express you that they interesting for these mathematical assignments. I just want to say that the projects is something that must have mathematics, and every project, whatever he called, he have mathematics in their self. Last year on the first conference, I talk about STEAM education. I will just remember some of them who was on that education, what we need for the project teaching. I loved projecting, that is STEAM education, and what he have science, who is meaning knowledge, or also everything that is around us, technique and technology, why we are doing something, what we will use to do something, engineering, we must design something, build something, etc. Between technique and technology and engineering, I put internship. I think that it has to be in the middle. We have art in the same way, everything of that have to be painted, and we have on the end mathematics. Why? Because everything say the mathematics is the queen of the science. They have number theory, algebra, geometric analysis, and we can do any project without mathematics. If we break this circle from the project, and our success is, there is nothing. We can do anything, and we cannot make a successfully project or something else. I don't want to use your time. this is the style of my work. I have to say that, and I have come up to big support from my colleagues from the school, especially from Biljana Kojic. She's with us tonight, and we start working together on the projects. And that I must say that is very successfully. And for last few years, we do all projects for competition of association young mathematician. Our children was great. We do it online, we do it in school. There is no system that can break us that we don't do a project. We also do the project for this year, and it was like in the middle, says something. Children work from home. In small groups, we can call them that they come to school, and they come to school. For the end, I must tell everybody that the competition of Association of Young Mathematicians is international, and I hope that the next year, when this epidemic of COVID stop, we will have projects from more countries. We have great cooperation from colleges from Turkey, Jordan, Albania, Italy, France. We do many more projects in this meantime when we are at home. I hope they will come to us and that we will do together. I just have to say that this online classes, it's no good. Traditional classes and your contact with the students, work with the students is something else.
Marina, sorry, I have to interrupt, but we have speakers, let's say, from other time zones. So
no problem. I have finished just now. That we just I want to say that the hybrid learning is something that we find like trendy way of the learning when we can make everything and do every project we do. That will be all.
Thank you, Marina, for sharing your experience and your work with colleagues from Turkey, if I understand. And we really send our greetings to friends and colleagues from Turkey, and also hope to see them on some of the next bridge of mathematics. Okay, now you will be able to unmute yourself, and you got instructions in the chat. And I encourage you to not to be shy or let's say hesitant due to the language reasons, to ask your questions. As you saw, we have great panelists this evening with us, and probably the right persons to address many of your questions. So if somebody would like to say something, this is the time. And also panelists can ask themselves the comment and share their thoughts on this topic. And
well, it looks like you need an icebreaker.
Yeah.
Okay, let's all meet at the STEM conference in Cyprus in June, and we write a new proposal for next year. on STEAM, whatever you like.
Yeah, it would be great to join you at Cyprus. I want to say again something really personal, but that is very important for me, because I decided to be a mathematician exactly 20 years ago. After I got my first diploma at the international competition of mathematics. And this diploma was signed by Professor Makridis, because he organized a beautiful Balkan Olympiad at Cyprus. Well, he organized many, but this one was really special, as was my first trip to foreign country. And I'm from that moment in really big love with Greek people, and especially with the island of Cyprus, which I really recommend you should visit.
I'm really very happy to know this. It's very important and sensitive information that I need to know. Maybe you should send me a copy of that certificate that I signed for you, because I probably don't have a copy, just to remember also
yeah,
who you
he
are.
is here in my room, and I will send you
Okay.
send you soon. It was bronze medal, but for me, for let's say 14 years, a guy that was really important moment to encourage and push him into mathematics.
Very happy to hear this. Very happy.
Yeah. Okay, we have also, I see another mathematician from North Macedonia, from Skopje, our friend Petar Sokolovski, who was the leader of team on the another Olympiad organized in Cyprus. Hi, Petar.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Georgia and Radica. Thank you for this beautiful conference. And I send my regards to Professor Makridis, whom I have met as the organizer of the Junior Balkan Olympiad, when Georgia was the leader of the Serbian team and I was the leader of the Macedonian team. And it was a beautiful experience. And I would like to say that I'm very happy to have participated in this share of thoughts on different approaches during the pandemic from different cultural environments. And it is very unusual to hear such a broad array of thoughts, including the ones that from the professor from the Serbian institution for promoting the education, who said that we should be preparing for the next 100 years to stay in this kind of environment, in this kind of education style. And total opposite from the teachers, mainly in primary schools, who think that, and which I support, that the style of education, the classical style of education, is simply essential because of the great many ways of contact between the professors and the students among themselves. And I hope there will be some bridges between those very different styles, which we have found ourselves during this pandemic. So is there some, maybe, are there some ideas? I hope, I'm sure there are people work on these different styles, but somehow to connect all these approaches and make them multilingual. Professor Makridis said that we should learn the sign language and make an international sign language. I hope there is some international sign language like Esperanto in the languages, but maybe the language will, in the near future, will not be the border between people, because we have now Google Translate, which translates much better than in the past, but the rate that it is evolving will make soon the borders that are created by the different languages disappear. I hope that this is the future we are looking for. And is there some possibility to make all these platforms, for example, from the Serbian Mathematical Society, to make them available for example, for the students in Macedonia to use them as on their own language? You know, how it is possible to make these borders disappear? Thank you for
maybe Zorica can make a comment on this. I suppose that those 8 languages are the languages of a minority living in Serbia, but when we are talking about Macedonian, it is understood very well, and Slađan gave excellent talk that everybody understood yesterday. Zorica, do you know will be, or is there chance that this platform that you created to be, let's say, available for students from other countries?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for a wonderful suggestion. I maybe forgot to mention that that also our colleagues and from the region are very welcome to register on the platforms and to use it. Of course, they are publicly available, and they are. I'm sure that our colleagues and also students from North Macedonia will be able to understand the formulations of mathematical tasks, so there will be no big obstacles to use the platforms. So I invite you to go to the website. I will share the presentation, and you can register. So we will be happy to have users from the region as well, and also from all over the world. And yes, these 8 languages are the languages of minorities living in Serbia.
If I may comment on Peter's statement.
Yes,
Just to say to Peter that the face-to-face teaching should never be replaced by digital. It's just the digital can support, can help to make the face-to-face better, in a sense, in different ways. And the distance learning can support the face-to-face in some ways, but it should never be replaced. We need the face-to-face teaching or learning. And the other comment about the Google translation, you should know that the deaf people do not read in the same way we read books. Those who were born deaf, they cannot read the regular text. They have their own syntax and grammar, you know. So a Google translation that will not help the deaf people, actually. So that's why the international sign language, if we all learn, imagine if we all learn the international language in school, so we can communicate without sound at any point in our lives, then we may save lives also, because sometimes you can be in a situation where sound cannot go across, and you need to give a message by a sign language to save a life. So it could be useful for all of us, you know, even to communicate with the deaf people, right? That's all.
Thank you. And I have also one question for Krzysztof. well, he participated in, I think, 2 or 3 schools that were organized, if I'm not wrong, from one Erasmus projects. And those schools were a very important moment in mathematical education in Serbia, because they contributed a lot to, let's say, networking among teachers in Serbia. And let's say the first international projects which were done on a basic level, from primary teachers from schools in Serbia with another teachers in primary schools in other countries. So can you, let's say, make let's say some comment how, of course, we have now a lot of technological opportunity to, let's say, get together people from really different countries. But as Professor Makridis said, this face-to-face contact will never disappear. And I think we are all have feelings that we miss our friends. For example, you know, I'm eager also to come to Macedonia and to hug my friends there. And so what do you think? Will we, let's say, more have the same opportunity for networking? Because you know, I'm always afraid that some governments will say, okay, you can use now Zoom. Why would you go somewhere abroad?
Yes, I understand your question, and definitely remembering to those school visits, what your colleagues and you contributed to organize, and also the meeting with Tanya Stankovic was also part of these school experiences. So what I really admired in Miss Anu's activities and in your concept, that you really keep the direct contact between the teaching, the world of teaching and the world of children, even in the most remote school, maybe in a little place, not even in Belgrade, but in Pančevo. I have great experiences from Pančevo. That's not the capital, but near the capital at least. And then there is collaboration between researchers of mathematics and teachers of mathematics. I experienced this friendly atmosphere and also this collaborative support, that how these teachers cooperated, and these strong teacher communities and this community also where children were part of this dialogue. You organized this May month of mathematics event, which was really one of the best example what I have ever seen all around the world, where children, teachers, and the scientists being part of the same community. And I think this must be understood and brought forward as the good example. And this will be warranty that no one will think seriously that Zoom or anything like that can substitute this kind of deep collaboration and this creative connection between people and people, which really require also the social time, because community learning is a social activity, and we have social media and we have everything, but media is never direct. That's the mediation, but it's always the substitution. But we need to see that not only prosthetics but aesthetics will help the community.
Yeah, thank you, Christoph. So I will also ask participants to, let's say, write the names of their countries in the chat. And okay, Tanya, you wanted to say something.
Yes, I would like to say hello to everyone. I'm using my phone because the Zoom won't work on my computer. So if something happens, please do understand that. I would like to say thank you for the wonderful lectures, talks. It was very inspiring, and we managed to share our experience. It was a short 1 year experience, but from different countries, and that gained us a lot of knowledge about this. Perhaps we were talking about summer school that I participated and worked with Christoph, and it was very good school because we made a connection among the professors and teachers from different countries, and it was about visualization of mathematics, so we learned a lot. And now I was listening to all of you, and I just got an idea, and I would like to ask you, what do you think about this idea? Perhaps it would be good to create one platform that will gather all the teachers from the world. You know, like a Facebook group or something, but platform that could connect all the people that are in the educational system and that are willing to share experience. Perhaps this could be a moment when we can start something like that. What do you think about that?
Tanya, do you
with Google Translation in between?
Why not? I
Yeah.
don't know. It's an ambitious idea. Okay, it's a great ambitious idea, but I think it will because we learned a lot from this pandemic. We learned that countries are not obstacles, that distance, physical distance is not an obstacle for cooperation. Today we are on the conference and we are sitting at home and we are working together. You know, it would be great if we could do it anytime we want. We can, you know, if something happens, I don't know, in Africa, or you know, you get a great idea and you want to share with your colleagues. Why to wait conference? Why not to share it on platform, and then you can say a little bit about that, and who is interesting, you can share the idea on the conference and everything. But this would be great to connect people that are willing to work and share ideas. I was very honored to be a part of that project that was in that Christoph mentioned, because that was very inspiring for me. And I think that this kind of platform would be inspiring for the people who are willing to learn more and to connect, because it's very hard to find connection. You know, the conferences are great, but now we cannot go somewhere and drink coffee and talk a little bit more, you know, and this can be like some network for teachers to connect and share ideas. There is a twinning some kind of a network, but it's like working on project. It's not about sharing, it's about sharing ideas. You can watch the project, but not direct communication. It would be great if you could mention a direct communication, find a teacher that does similar like you do, something like that. It would be easier, I think. I don't know. Perhaps it's ambitious, I don't know, but I just got an idea at this moment. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone has a comment or to say something on Tanya's idea? I would say that that's too ambitious to have the whole world, but maybe it's while others are thinking about the proposal, to ask Professor Kalala, because maybe he has teacher and a scientist coming from Africa can, let's say, something from his perspective, let's say what should or what could be done in this direction, and let's say how to encourage the collaboration between teachers in Europe and teachers in Senegal and other African countries.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a great idea. It's a great ambition from Tatiana. I think we can start small instead of trying to go big at the first time. We can start small from this workshop to put everyone together in a platform as you mentioned. And then the platform will be growing and growing slowly. So people will join progressively until it gets big. Yeah, I think the idea is quite great. And it's so exciting for me to be in this talk this evening. And I would like more of my colleagues. So there are a lot of colleagues. They might be happy to join this kind of talk and sharing thought and idea. And so the idea of Tajna is quite great. We can start small. That's my point of view. Like the way Facebook started or any social media, they start 2 or 3 people and then they were growing. So I think that platform can start small from the people in this talk. And then we grow up on a platform, sharing ideas, sharing experience, how things are being done elsewhere, how we can copy and learn from each other, and then grow slowly and see where we can get. And then I think we can learn more from each other, from the tools we can develop and discuss. Then I think it's a great idea. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. So I really encourage somebody from audience to, let's say, to say something or to comment something, not to be shy or.
Can
Yes,
you
Peter.
say something?
Yeah. Okay. Marina and then Peter.
Okay. From last 1-2 years, like COVID is, I have a great cooperation with Ukraine College, with South Africa Department of Science and Technology, from teachers from Turkey, from France, teachers from all of the world want to cooperate and want to work. I think that Tatjana's ideas is great. Just have somebody to make that platform. Russian and Ukraine are welcome. They just have our students to do with them, to do their competitions, Olympiads. Everything was online, of course. South Africa too. We was welcome everything, everywhere where we go.
Peter, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to share my experience. It is very local experience from my country, and we don't have a special, platform. Maybe building a new platform is not that easy, but using the existing platforms like Facebook, for example, the social network, there are big possibilities to use this platform, which is used by everyone, especially by the students, to make some space for educators. I am almost 100% certain that in every country there are groups of teachers, of professors. For example, I'm the administrator of the group for mathematics for elementary and secondary schools in Macedonia, and it is about cooperation between the teachers. For example, Slađan Stanković also is moderator in this group, and in that group there is a very open discussion about everything that happens in the schools, in the competitions, and maybe The biggest issues is the things that are not talked about. For example, how do we make grading in schools, and how do the competition problems, for example, are the competition problems adequate considering the educating material? Because there was a big reform here in a way that all the program was changed in 3 or 4 years, maybe. It was a novelty for everybody, introducing the Cambridge system of education, which caused a great discussion. And it was, every government that comes pushes some directions in education that are not welcome by the teachers and the professors. And I'm not sure if this is the case everywhere. For example, I know that in Serbia, the professionals are very much asked about that, but using this platform on Facebook had a huge impact on everybody, including the government and the professors and the decision making of the Society of Mathematicians in my country. And you have, my point is that we have the platforms, we have the means to make this platform much easier than to create something from the beginning, from the start. It is better if it is made from the beginning by the professionals for themselves, but it is a huge, huge task. And my opinion is that it is much better to use the platforms that we already have. You have the example of, for example, in the United States, of Donald Trump, who was banned from all the platforms, and he wanted to create a new platform, a new social network. And even for him, it is not an easy task, not for people like us, not having the means to do that. And I think it is much better to use the existing social networks to do this task much better and much sooner and much easier than to create it from scratch. Thank you.
Tanya, I think you also wanted to add something.
Yes, I want to add something. I know it's an ambitious idea, but what is the problem with the Facebook? We have in Serbia like some kind of group, but it's not a controlled group. You don't know whether all in the groups are teachers or not. So you don't know. We need to know that all in the groups are the teachers, because if you talk about grading or something like that is delicate, you need to talk within the professional talk, and you don't know, sometimes you don't know on Facebook with who are you talking to, so that can be a problem with the Facebook. But of course, I agree with the professor that it should start small, and it will increase, because there are many topics in education that needs to be reconsidered. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce it properly. That we need to talk about it. Some ideas are great. We need some to work with SAM projects. We can find it here. We have a problem with the grading. We can find discussion group about that. We have a problem about teaching methods. We can exchange experience. So don't misunderstand me. I'm not against the conference. I like, the true conference, when you go to the coffee, you talk to people, you make that kind of networking. That is something that should never die. I wait for that moment to have a normal conference once again, but this can be a good moment to start cooperation among people that cannot always be in contact on other way. That's the idea, to connect and people, as many people as we can. For example, I know
Diana, you can make WhatsApp groups for different thematics if you like, you know, and then you can have one group for grading, one group for learning, one group for tools, one group. But the thing is that if I'm going to participate in a group for grading, which I don't believe in it anymore, I need to have students there also. There is no point for me to discuss grading with teachers only. I need to hear from the students also, because we're grading for them, right? So this is the way I think. If I'm talking about you, I need you to be there. I need to hear from your side. So there are many things into this communication, platforms or groups or whatever. I don't know if any substantial results could come out from it. It's good to exchange ideas, but at some point, if there is nothing really solid and serious coming out of discussions, and you don't feel you become wiser, let's say, from discussions, then you lose interest. So, you know, it happens to everyone. So I'm also the person who I believe we should have no platforms, because we should have access at any point, anywhere, links, whatever. Why should we use only one platform? Because some platform, something could go wrong, and so we are left with nothing. So it's better to have open access everywhere and be adaptable to anything. Things are changing fast. Don't narrow ourselves, I think, to you know, static situations.
Yeah, maybe we went too much in, let's say, too ambitious and maybe not so realistic project. As I think I agree with Peter, we should, let's say, focus on what we can do. We are maybe a little late. I again ask if others, if they want to join discussion, to ask panelists something, or to express their opinions on and I wanted to say that we had participants from 15 countries. I wanted to list all, but some participants left. Thank you all for your contributions. And if there are no other comments, I would ask Božo Vuković to share his screen, because I would like to announce that the next conference, Bridges of Mathematics, will be held next year, and invite you to follow the Facebook group of young mathematician and me, Sanu. We hope that we will be able to host the Bridges of Mathematics next year in our beautiful Serbia. Thank you very much, and enjoy this video about our country, which is waiting for its friends from all over the world. Thank you very much for everything.
Unspoiled nature awakens special moments. It teaches us how to stop time, and how, from the ordinary and everyday, hard work can create art. The old village of Sirogoino faithfully preserves the way of life of a people living in harmony with nature. The peace of forests is broken only by birdsong, and the majestic vista from the heights gives a feeling of freedom. The Shagan 8 train will guide us through secluded stretches, but also through time. The food of yesteryear had a special taste, a taste that has been preserved to this day. Roving deeper into the past, we come upon the remains of civilizations thousands of years old. Eastern Serbia is rich in archaeological treasures, where mammoth fossil remains and the ancient Lepenski culture can be discovered. Centuries-old castles and fortresses proudly safeguard history. The Middle Ages forged the cradle of modern Serbia, proudly witnessed by the monasteries. We keep the tradition with a care and love that can be felt by all the senses. Indigenous varieties of grapes will satisfy even the most demanding lovers of wine. Descending further into the depths of Serbia, we learn about nature's patience through the adornments it has been forming for millions of years. The idyllic scenes of the mountain massif rising in South Serbia leave breathless even those who would sleep through the winter. On the Vojvodina plain, we stumble upon a rare jewel, the world's largest collection of terracotta sculptures. For centuries, the spirit of Serbia has been enriching itself where east and west cross paths. Along the river, you can savor the beauty of a summer breeze. Thrilling biking paths weave an experience never to be forgotten. Serbia boasts cities that have the true spirit of the metropolis. Belgrade is a city that never sleeps. A city that keeps testimony to Nikola Tesla, who has indebted the whole of humankind. A city that generates a vibrant cultural scene and preserves a rich cultural heritage. The eclectic architecture, old and new, charms and inspires people from all over the world. We conjure an open and diverse culture where every voice is welcome. Serbia is the land of your friends, the land in which some wishes come true and others are yet made.
Thank you to everybody, and take care about yourself, and really hope to see you next year on the Bridges in Mathematics in Vrnjačka Banja, in Belgrade, and our beautiful Serbia. We love you all. Goodbye. Good evening.
Bye.